All right, hello everybody. We are going to import data from the University of Utah Hisparc um, website into JupyterLab so that we can analyze it. Okay, how do I find Hisparc? If you type in Hisparc like this, the first link here is the one you want, utah.edu. Hisparc is a project where astrophysics research with cosmics is a project where high schools and academic institutions join forces to form a network and observe cosmic rays. So we have a detector that we built and then put on top of our school, and now we want to extract that data and analyze it. So go to the website, click on Hisparc data. Then you want to view stations from all over the world. The students from all over the world have made similar detectors and put them at their communities. I'm going to scroll down here to look at all these places. You can analyze any of these, but we're going to go down to Salt Lake City where we live and click on the one we want. In this case, the first one here, the only one that is highlighted. This is typically what you see when you land on one of these. You have like a calendar and a bunch of data. Okay, so let's look at this first one right here, event histogram. And the procedure for doing the data, importing the data for all of these is basically the same. So that's why I'm just going to look at this one. I think it's the easiest one to understand. So this is number of cosmic rays, and this is the time of day. And this was taken yesterday. So how do I get this data into JupyterLab? Well, let's open up Jupyter, jupyter.org. Okay, Jupyter is a nice Python programming thing that I can use. I'm going to do JupyterLab. Okay, try it in the browser here. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of lag with my life here. So click this. It's free and it works on my browser and I don't have to log into anything. And that's kind of the nice thing about Jupyter. Also lets you import your own data like what we're going to do now. So I'm going to click on JupyterLab, the latest web-based development environment. Now, the first time you open this, it's not going to look as cluttered as mine. It'll say Introduction to JupyterLab, but it will not have all these files on the left here. This is stuff I've been working on. It's nice that it saves it. Let's start a new file, new notebook file, new notebook. And what I'm going to do is import the data and then manipulate it in this notebook, okay? So we can save this as, instead of untitled 9, let's call it event hour. So we're going to do the event hour data into here. Okay, so this will rename, hopefully it'll rename the notebook in a second, and that's weird. Okay, anyway, no big deal. You can learn to save as later. Okay, so we're going to go back to the image here, and most of these have source file information. So if you click here, it'll automatically download the file. So if I click here and open this up in Notepad, you can see what it's plotting. Basically 0, 3, 2, 2, 6, 1, 3, 4, 4, 4. So at hour 2, it's plotting 3496 right here. That's what hour 2 is. That's how it's getting all the data. So once I have this notebook file, here's what I do. I delete all of the stuff up here. I just delete all that. We don't need any of that. So all we're left with is the titles of the columns and the data. Okay, and I'm just going to save this as events or something like this. Okay, event hour. Let's do event by hour. Okay, and you can put in the date. I'm just going to leave it like that. Now, let's not put it in downloads. Let's put it on the desktop so I know where it is easily accessible. Okay, so this TSV file, a tab separated value file, has been saved. Now I can go to Jupyter and import it. So this button right here uploads files. Event by hour. Open. There it is. So there it is, event by hour. So if I go into my untitled 9, I thought I renamed it, but whatever. We're now gonna code in a command to import the data. directly into here. So I actually cheated and coded it up in untitled 8. I'm going to copy and paste this. Copy untitled 9, paste. So we're going to do this in pandas. Pandas, just so you know, I know nobody understands code until they've been doing this for a while. This is a library. People write functions all the time. Probably the easiest function to try and explain to you is like the square root function. So I don't have to invent my own algorithm for calculating square root. Somebody has done that already, and I can just like when you type in square root into like Desmos or something, somebody has already typed in an algorithm to figure out how to calculate that. So pandas, somebody's actually already done a function that reads TSV files. TSV files are tab separated value files. So I don't have to like code up something really complicated to do this. I already have one. So it's not called event time 2. It's called event by hour, right? It's in here somewhere, event by hour. So I need to change that name. I need to first import pandas because otherwise it won't have this function that is like gonna import this. And the way this function works is it's called read CSV. So it's just gonna read in the CSV, or in this case, a TSV. And here's the file name, and you have to, what kind of file is it? Is it a comma separated value file, a CSV, or is it a tab, right? If I did a C, that would be like comma separated value, but here it is, tabs. And we're going to call the file that we read in df. Okay, so that's what this line is saying. So this line is just importing the library of functions that have been pre-written, and this is calling this function, and the input parameters are the file name and what kind of file type it is. And I'm going to name it df. And this final command is just going to print df, at least the first 5 rows, right? The first 5 rows of df will be printed. Okay, so this is ready to run the code. I'm going to hit play here. And we should see, oh, what's going on here? There we go. It took a second. I'm like, wait, nothing. So there you go. There's the 5 rows. If you want to see all of the rows, you just type in df, and it should print them all. So you can see all the rows. The reason you do this head is because then you don't have like a lot of, if you have thousands of rows, you don't want to print them all. Anyway, that's how you get your data in. Yeah. So we're going to leave it there. Really quick, one last thing. If you wanted to plot this data, I went ahead and just stole some code off ChatGPT. Here's another basic. So again, what is this saying? I'm importing more libraries where they have already created plotting software or plotting functions. I'm going to call it PLT. So this one, PLT plot, should plot the bin. And it's like that, right? I have to go back and look at my exact column header. And then this value is value. Okay, so this one should work. Let's go ahead and hit play on this. And that should create very similar looking plot. Aha! Very similar looking plot to the original plot here. Now we can change around the things, but this is basically the same information here. It's interesting that this one is so dramatic. Why is this one look so different from the other? They are, after all, the same graph. And the answer is, you start here, the scale on the y-axis goes to 0, right? So if you look at that, scale on the x-axis goes to 0. So how do I set the scale? I'll just ask that. How do I set the y scale to be 0? So the there's a command called pl limit bottom equals 0. Let's try adding that. Ugh, I can't get my cut and paste to work very well. and then come up here, put that right here, and then hit play again. And there you go. So that guy right there is going to be pretty much exactly the same as the Hisparc data. So isn't that crazy? We'll compare and contrast these things. And let's make this one a little smaller here. There you go. Look at that. Kind of cool, but real. Obviously we can go in and change the length of this. This one has been changed so that you get more of a flatter curve, but that is essentially the same thing. All right, I'm going to stop there and let you guys manipulate your data. What other data can I manipulate on this website? So there's all of these pulse height histograms and the zenith histograms. You can also go to if you click data here and down, I think it's this download event summary. Here, this will just directly download a TSV file. So if I want all of the data from yesterday, sure. You hit submit, and you get yourself all data files. This is basically the main one that we're going to be working with, this data set here. Because you can actually recreate all these other files directly from it. So this one has a little bit of data, and the other one is more data, and that's the one you want to work with. All right, try to import the first job. Try to import yourself some data set from yesterday or your birthday last year. I don't really care what day you use. Let's say your birthday. Find yourself your birthday here and in the last year, and let's look at what happened on that day. Have a good day.